You just came through this city's largest underground transport network. If you had the chance to go above ground, you'd have seen a completely different side of Syndicate. Grand buildings, meticulous design, stability, wealth, hope, everything was neat and orderly. This was West District's Inner Bay, the birthplace of this city's hypercube industry. People dammed the farthest end of this sea, carving out some relatively stable waters. They then dug deep mines in Inner Bay. The hypercube was the treasure they stole back with their wisdom from the fearsome Dis Sea. It was the only strategic resource of the era of Nightfall, and the bedrock of this city's prosperity and status. People were the foundation of Inner Bay's industry, and many talented workers gathered here. Back then, mech technology wasn't advanced to penetrate mania fields. Senior technicians had to manually operate mechs to dig one mine after another. In NF-84, the Dis Sea explosion occurred, giving birth to BR-000. By the time the Broken Front Line was formed, 95% of Inner Bay had been contaminated. Hypercube production plummeted, hitting this city's economic and political status hard. Inner Bay's workers were the ones who stayed behind in the ravaged mining zone to help this city pull through its most difficult period. They formed militias to fight the emerging gangsters, guarded the remaining mines against further contamination, and gave it their all to boost hypercube reserves. Sorry for saying so much, but that was the West District we were once so proud of. The people back then were the noblest of souls in the Golden Age. We all love Syndicate deeply. Next, let's talk about BR-002, which is the black ring you want to investigate. In NF-104, automated mining tech became common across East Side. On the other hand, due to contamination, outdated equipment, and work injury compensation costs, Inner Bay was deemed a negative asset by the higher-ups and was discarded. But the workers didn't want to give up. They begged the company to keep the mines and outdated equipment, so as to preserve West District's economic lifeline. In the end, the company agreed to the workers' demands on the condition that they gave up all claim to compensation. The two sides completed the handover of the largest mine, W31, on November 25th. Inner Bay won for Syndicate its own hypercube mine. But on November 28th, an incident erupted in W31. Workers got trapped, and contamination spread into the mine, which soon developed into a black ring. BR-002. We have very little data on BR-002. BR-000 and 002 were too close in proximity, triggering the mass spread of mania. BR-000 expanded rapidly and was barely halted at the FAC's third Broken Front Line. The radiation from the contaminated zone continued to seep out, eventually covering all of Inner Bay. The industrial zone became completely isolated from the outside world. Not even the FAC could penetrate this layer of contamination. After a few years, they confirmed that the M value inside disappeared, but could not confirm the reason why. So, they just left. The survivors of Inner Bay, including their family members, total around 200 people. Afterwards, the Drifter Camp was formed. As for those who were trapped in the mine, I could only confirm the names of 13,004 of them. The Romanesque monument was built in their honor. You asked us about our relationship with BR-002. This is it. I've also told you everything I know about BR-002. If you want to know more, please go to the next page. Since you've made it this far, welcome to Shelter W31. Like I said, this is the easiest place for you to complete your mission. Once you leave the shelter, you can take a boat across Inner Bay to mine W31 in 10 minutes. This is also the ruins of BR-002. This was once the Corpseborn's base. You said the half that fled is great at hiding because it leaves no traces, since all the contamination gets transferred to the dead half. Well, lucky you. Because the dead half is at the bottom of W31. Once you destroy this half, the other half will no longer be able to hide its contamination, naturally exposing itself. Rustfire will show you the way. The fighters here are at your command. This shelter, which has been a sanctuary for Inner Bay's workers since before the Broken Front line, has got your back. We couldn't let go of our past, so we came back and did what even the FAC couldn't. We used Inner Bay technology to resurrect the shelter and stockpiled enough hypercubes to hold off the contamination. The battle might be tough, but you can always come back to recharge your supplies. If I told you this is your reward for helping the Drifter camp, you wouldn't believe me. You're always such a cautious person. Yes, we each have our own goals, but they're all for the future of Syndicate. If you're willing to guard our secret from your superiors, then please read on. Rustfire wants to recapture BR-002. Eliminate the Corpseborn, get rid of the Black Ring, and rebuild West District's mines.
You're reading too slowly, Miss Chief. Let me read it out loud for you. I came here together with you, Chief. I read the rest already. Let me tell you their real motive. They want to take over a Black Ring and turn it into a mining zone for West District. Their next step is to engage in smuggling and collude with the Outlands to undermine the economy and security of this city. This is a serious crime. All of this city's hypercubes belong to the state. Any Black Ring ruins or leftover mines in West District are under the jurisdiction of the Executive Committee. Nirvana is the only company legally entitled to use them. Chief, you've made a great discovery. Come, let's wipe out these traitors together. Wait, you want to cover for them? You've made new friends since the Legion Rebellion? You want to betray us, the Ninth Agency, and this city again? Good reaction. Relax, I didn't come to fight. I just wanted to make this once-in-a-lifetime encounter with you more dramatic and memorable. Now let's have a proper introduction. Hello, Chief. I'm the shelter liaison. I'm also a Rustfire publicist, Syndicate war correspondent, renowned Drifter Camp author, Dis City ghostwriter, and the greatest romantic poet of our time. I am Ray, but you can call me by my beautiful pen name. Raven. I write poems with darkness, and I've come to record this magnificent mission